The River Flow Connect project came about because we've been exploring the theme of river with communities in Bedford. And obviously Kempston is a community that's very close to the river. But what we found out through a series of conversations was that not everybody had a direct relationship with the river. They didn't necessarily spend much time there except for dog walkers and people who perhaps ran along the river. And so we were trying to find out ways in which we could get a deeper connection and look at things such as the environment, conservation issues, flooding issues with a range of community partners. And so we started with a few small little events, just consultation picnics, popping up and speaking to people and speaking to councillors and partners. And together we started to get the idea for the River Flow Connect project, which was funded initially by the National Lottery Community Fund. We've also had generous funding from Bedford Borough Council through ward councillor funds, support of Kempston Town Council and many other partners. We've had grant funding from the Ashley Foundation. We've also had some UK Shared Prosperity Fund money. And that's allowed us to work in Kempston for over a year now. And across that time, we've done such a huge range of different events in order just to explore what engagement the river might be for that community. And it started to take a turn towards sculptural commissions along the river.
Right at the beginning, I was asked to sort of like come up with some ideas, and one of the things that we'd done to begin with, the very first thing we made was a swan that we sit on, that we took around various places, and we got people's ideas about what they'd like as far as sculptures are concerned.
Through this project, it became clear that we wanted a place for someone to dwell or reflect by the river. And so using different artists through the project, we came up with some amazing sculptures that we can see today. The schools programme, I think we engaged with 300 school children.
We made the swan and we used some of the words, descriptive words that children gave us in workshops around the schools, words that evoked by, you know, open spaces and the river and things like that. So we took those and we represented them on the aluminium swan. And this is a model of a sculpture that I'm going to be making out of aluminium. Now, once it's made like this, I'm going to be choosing some words that make you think of the river and nature around the river. And they're going to be represented on here, and we're going to cut them out of the steelwork, you know, so there's going to be holes through the shape of it, so you can see the words as you look up at it, you know. So that's the sort of thing that we're going to be doing today.
Oh, people are looking at the ducks in the pond, because that's what we do, isn't it? We all go and look at the ducks. That's fantastic, brilliant. And then what did you do?
The Ferris.
You did the Ferris, the lovely purple and red Ferris wheel over here. Fantastic, thank you so much.
I did a bridge with water on it, and the ducks come up with you and you go through it in a boat.
Thank you so much, Year 4. What you've done today it's really, really important, and it's really valuable what you've done. So it's really important that when artists make work, that's going to be seen by communities and will be in communities. It's really important that communities have had input into what that is. And it's something that excites them and makes them want to go and see it and be part of it. So what you've done today is you've fed all of these fantastic ideas to Paul for the swan with the words, and then I'm going to take these maps back to my bosses who are in charge of commissioning artists for this arts trail that's going to happen over the next few years, and we're going to say, look at all these fantastic ideas, and it's the starting point for where this might happen. And you've done that, so thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's our first real public art in situ in the locality with the community. So we're really pleased that that was one of the outputs. We started looking at places where people could sit and dwell. We worked with the artist Paul Bibworth, and he built this amazing pavilion with the words River Flow Connect sculpted as part of the pavilion. And then we put cushions and seating around it, and then people could chill out next to the river with headphones on and listen to kind of music inspired. And then we also had performances in there, so it's also been used as a performance pavilion. So we took that theme into the call out for the next phase of the project, which is the prototypes that have been developed today.
The response from the local community during workshops has been brilliant. Some really thoughtful ideas, and also, you know, real interest in the idea of using the arts to kind of explore the river in different ways. So that's been really positive, and it's really exciting for the future. I think this is just the start.
As part of the project, we wanted to engage as many people in Kempston as we could, and we were like, how can we get everyone here at once? So we decided to take the idea of a sculptural space near the river and use light as a sculptural element. So we did a light walk along the river, and we had over 800 people attended that event, and they all kind of said, yes, we want to be next to our riverbank. We don't want to have to go all the way into town to sit on a bench there. We want this to be our special place and reflect.
So through a series of different workshops, we've explored various ideas responding to the sites. We looked at the natural environment, we talked about what community use would be. We initially did a workshop where we explored how the soul of the river could be amplified through creative interventions, and the groups came up with various different ideas, including community gardens, how to grow food, tree houses. There was a sculpture of like 2 owl faces, a bird perch in the middle that could amplify the sounds of the wildlife in the river.
As well as the community workshops, we decided that it would be really good to attract community leaders and get them around a table. And we were really supported by ward councillors that came along, and we called it a steering group. So it was anybody in Kempston who wanted to give their opinion of the project and help me and the artists in choosing locations and communities that we should approach.
They invited me to join a steering group, and that was a group of just interested people locally, councillors, other people, anybody who was interested. And so we had meetings from time to time. And what I found was interesting was that they gradually built up the concept, the artistic concept, and the concept for the community. It was all about, and it is all about, community engagement.
It is very important, and it's a nature we should be connected, and it is a very, very important. The more events should happen like that all the time in Kempston. As a mayor, and I love to come in one of those events all the time to enjoy ourselves. Local people should come and enjoy themselves.
You see people with their kayaks and stand-up paddle boards. It's amazing how many more people there are down there now than there used to be. The more we can have down here, the more people will engage. Putting the landing stage in showed how that works. So I think, the sculpture there would just enhance it so much. It'd be lovely.
Through a series of kind of whittling down those ideas in different workshops and exploring them in different ways with different groups, we refined those to this idea of kind of playful structure, so kind of hiding and shelter, and that really came through in prototype 2, which was really quite physically inspired by one of the outcomes in the first workshop that we did, which is this kind of 7-sided star that has reflective surfaces so that you can see the natural environment around you, and it also has these kind of brightly coloured panels with peepholes and look-throughs.
There's an artist called Sam Williams, and she had designed these concepts, and she wanted them represented at half scale. I got together about 4 weeks ago, I guess. We started it and got it done in time to the scale, half scale, which is kind of nice, just to give people an idea of what could be used in these spaces.
We were very lucky to be able to help develop some prototypes of the 3 potential sculptures which the group is looking to present with many sheds, and this presented quite an engineering challenge for them, as well as utilising new technology of the laser cutter which we hadn't used before.
Prototypes that are being built up aren't prototypes of what actually is going to be built. They're prototypes which, when chosen, will inspire the artist. And I think that's a fantastic idea, because community art, it's something which can't just be done to people, it's got to be done with people. And so I think that the way in which Bedford Creative Arts are approaching the project, it's something that I've never known before. It's completely new to me, but it is a fantastic idea.
All the sculptures are nice, and this is one of my favorites. It's called tree house, is it? So if it's a larger, bigger one, then we can all play around, we can sit and we can go through it. Yeah, it would be very nice, yeah. For everyone, not for myself, and everyone to come and enjoy.
One of the ideas that came through was this idea of kind of growing food and community gardens, but also incorporating the idea of shelter. So what would be a space that you kind of felt that you could go and sit and read, and perhaps also learn about different ways that you can kind of grow food. And that was, again, one of the structures from the first workshop was a real kind of grain of inspiration for prototype 1, the knowledge garden. And then the final prototype, a tree house for you and me, was inspired by the abundance of tree houses that came out of the workshops. I think that the Kempston community would love for there to be some tree houses down here. Some of them were tree houses for children, some of them were for teenagers, but people were also coming up with ideas for like tree houses for butterflies and tree houses for frogs. So the tree house for you and me is really a structure that could be incorporated back into the environment so that it wouldn't need to necessarily be maintained and cared for. It could have vines growing up it. It's also a lower level. We did that purposely for the prototype so that we could also think about accessibility and what a tree house might be for somebody that had, you know, mobility issues or needed to use a wheelchair. So if we were going to make a tree house here, maybe there would be a series of different heights and different access points.
It was a difficult choice, but the one that I picked, what I liked about it was the shape of it, but also because it had vegetation growing around it, and so there would be an element of community garden in it. And from what my experience in Kempston, people are pretty good at doing that sort of thing, of maintaining gardens, watering and so on. So I think as long as it's in the right place, then that work would be done, and that would be really effective.
So the highlights for me is the entire project. It's not only brought art to Kempston, it's brought people to our area. It's engaged with our local library, residents, businesses, councillors. We've had events here, and that's made it possible for residents to get engaged not only with our outside, our lovely river, but also with art itself, which was lacking in Kempston. And so the entire project for me has been great from the start.
So the sculptures that came in have been really contributing to the library over the summer. This one in particular, the Knowledge Garden, we've had children sitting in it, reading with parents, lying through it, borrowing books through it, posting books through it, so that's been good. But also the other two as well, we've had children hiding and going through the holes in it. But also older generation as well, they've really taken an interest in it and been able to take a vote as to obviously what one they want and where they're going to have it. So that's worked really well as well for the link to the group and just generally their interest in it. So the sculptures have been a good part of the library over the summer.
I think the residents of not just Kempston but everybody in Bedford would benefit from this project, because anything that we can do to get older people in particular to be walking down the riverside or walking as a whole to see sculptures that we've made is only going to be a bonus to their health and well-being.
So today's event is the culmination of a series of workshops we've been doing with Sam Williams in order to explore what different sculpture commissions might be. We've got to the point now where we've got 3 different options for different sculptural pieces that we could put along the river. We've got some small models and some large models, and people are being encouraged to vote for their favourites. But in order to demonstrate how you can use these riverside spaces as community spaces, we've also done a huge range of programming. So we've got circus activity, we've got craft workshops, we've got storytelling, we've got music, and it's a really fun family day.
I think what this project has done, is raising awareness for people of Kempston to see what they've got on their doorstep. It's a great resource for the people of Kempston, I think, and what I hope is if and when these art installations happen, it will give people a reason to visit. I think the river in Kempston is our hidden gem, and I would like more people to see it.
So once we've, in theory, raised all the money for the sculpture, had it built, a place like this at the landing stage, then a key element of the success would be to see people enjoying it, people relaxing, having picnics, coming with family, coming on their own, and also maybe using it as space for performance, depending on the scale of the sculpture. And then the idea that we would build more along the river and then across at Queen's Park and then connect up with the town centre, ideally.
It's very interesting, River Flow Connect. It's not about River Flow Connect, it's about River Flow connection with the community. And we want more of this in our community, and it's absolutely fantastic.